Welcome. In the previous video, we have seen or discussed what is work done in an electric field and what is potential difference. So, in this video, as a continuation, we will be discussing how to define an electric potential and what is an expression for potential field. So, as you can see on the screen, the electric potential is defined as the work done in moving a unit positive charge from infinity to that point against the field. So, basically potential is measured at some particular point. Now, if I need to calculate potential at any given point, then I should be knowing or I should be able to compute what is the work done in moving unit positive charge to that point from a very far distance, conceptually infinity. So, here the highlight is infinity against the field, etc. So, let us try to understand what this statement states. So, let me initially consider a positive charge with good amount of value creating a field. Now, I consider a point P in the vicinity of the field, okay, within the field produced by this plus Q. Now, as per the statement, to calculate potential at this point, I have to bring a unit positive charge. For explanation purpose, let me notate it as plus Q. We know that a unit charge means the magnitude is 1. So, plus 1 it is. So, I will indicate it as plus Q, small q, indicating that it is a positive unit charge, and this positive unit charge should be kept at some point which is infinity. Now, if I bring this plus Q from here to this point P, and how much work I need to do for the same will give me what is the potential at this point, right? That is the statement. So, I bring it from here to this point P. Now, the work done to do so, okay, how much work I have to do or how much energy I have to expend will give me the potential here. Now, how to understand this physically? So, let me take an example to make you understand what exactly this means. So, we will consider an example of a wooden block with a fixed spring, okay, something like this. I will consider a rigid surface, then I am connecting a spring to that rigid surface and a box. Okay. Now, you should understand that this position of the spring is the normal position of the spring, and this box is connected to end of that spring. Now, at this particular position, this spring is not potentially having any energy, okay, by itself, because this is normal position of the spring. So, we say that potential energy of that spring is 0. At this position, the potential energy of the spring is 0, and this particular spring is not applying any force on this block. So, I say that the force on this particular block is also 0. So, it is not going to give me any force on this box. So, I say F is 0. Actually, this is the case, okay, this is the case when this plus Q doesn't exist, okay. In the sense, I am not talking about against the field. So, if I consider a point P okay, in a free space where plus q is not there, then this system can be approximated as this system. Okay, not very clear? Yeah, let us proceed. Now what I am going to do is, I am going to push this box. I am going to push this box so that it will compress this spring. Okay, so I am going to push this box from your right to left so that this spring will be compressed enough to gain some potential energy. Then let us see what happens. So I will consider the same surface, but now the spring is compressed because I have pushed this box. Okay, I have pushed this box this side from right to left. I have pushed it from right to left. Okay, you can either pull it from this side also, doesn't matter. So basically I am pushing it, I am doing a work from this side, I am pushing it. Now, does this spring has any potential energy? Will this spring have some energy? Yes. Now it is not in its normal position. You have contracted the spring. Okay, so spring is in a contracted position, ready to release. So we say that this spring has gained some energy, and we call it as a potential energy because at this particular position, this particular spring doesn't have any speed or velocity. So the energy is stored in it, is found to be stored in it. So we call it as potential energy. So now when I push this, okay, I am doing some work, and that will in turn give me potential energy, which is a value greater than 0. Initially it was 0, now I will have potential energy much greater than 0. Okay, now if I release this, what I am doing, I am pushing this and holding this box. Please understand, I didn't leave it, I am still holding it. Now if I leave this box, what is going to happen? If I leave this box, this spring, the potential energy stored in this spring is going to be released, or this spring is going to push this box to the right hand side, right? So later this box is going to be in the stationary or normal position like this, but initially it is going to have a push, it is going to have a force from left to right. Okay, now to explain that, let me consider another small box which I have kept very near to this bigger box, very near to this bigger box, and now I am releasing this box. So you can imagine what is going to happen. So when I release, I will have a force this side, right, left to right, and this box will be pushed. This box will be pushed with some velocity, and this box is going to, okay, change its position, and maybe this box will be moved by some distance and will be here. So this is because I have applied a force. Now force is also greater than 0 because this force is created by this potential energy. Now this can be related to this field. So this force here, right, this plus q, this plus q is creating a force, because we know that whenever you have a charge, you will have field around that charge, and initially I told that this point P where I need to calculate potential is in the vicinity of this field or is within the field, right? So this point P, or whatever you try to keep at this point P, it will experience a force due to this plus q. So we say that this plus q is having a potential energy which is pushing this, okay, maybe unit charge which is yet to be here, okay, something kept at this point will be pushed by this plus q. So I go further and further and further, okay, it will still experience, this point P is going to experience the force because of this plus q. So where I have to keep this point P such that it will not experience a force, that is the question. I hope the concept is very clear. Now, okay, this plus q you imagine as a contracted spring, a holded spring. Now you try to keep this small box. This small box is some charge kept at this point P. You try to keep it here. This fellow will push this away. This fellow will experience a force because of plus q. It will push this away. Now I need to find a point where whatever kept at that point will not experience force due to this plus q. In this example, something like this. This box, I can keep it somewhere here, right? Somewhere here, so that it will not experience any force. Because this is out of the vicinity of the spring. Okay, this system, basically this system, spring box system, this small box is out of the vicinity of this particular system, so this is not going to disturb this box. But if I try to bring that box somewhere here after contacting, okay, I have hold this, I pushed it, I have done some work and done this, and if I keep this box here and if I release this is going to push this somewhere here. So the first thing what I should do is I should find a place to keep this box which is away from this. So in this example, okay, this is the best position to keep this, but conceptually, okay, I always assume that field exists everywhere around a charge and charge exists everywhere in the space. So the best place to keep this box is infinity, so that it will not experience any force. So I am keeping this box at infinity now. I hope this is very clear now. Infinity is very conceptual. Infinity, when I mean, it is very far, 500 kilometer, 5000 kilometer, 50,000 kilometer. Okay, you can imagine any distance which is very far from this field or any field in that sense. Okay, now you are trying to bring this. Okay, now you are here, this box is at infinity. Okay, now you are trying to bring this. Okay, now come to this box is somewhere here and there is a potential energy field because there is a charge here. So this is the example. So there is a charge here which is something similar to this. Okay, now you are trying to bring this box from infinity to this point. Okay, so you bring it very near and you are doing a work. Okay, holding it, releasing it, holding it, releasing it. Whenever you are trying to bring it, this will push. So the force experienced by this small box is equivalent to the work done. Is it not? How it is equivalent? It is equivalent because the work done by you to push this will be directly proportional to this force, and that force is pushing this box. So how much work you are doing to bring this box from this position, okay, to this position, so that you can bring that box to this vicinity, because here somebody is ready to push you with F greater than 0, it is going to push. Okay, now to understand better, you assume that the spring is in this position, you are bringing this box from infinity, you are bringing it, you are here now. Now you push this bigger box with this smaller box, what is going to happen? How much work you have to do to make this box into this position? Getting that work? Okay, that work will be equivalent to this force. If you leave this, it will push this side. So I can say that the potential energy, in the sense the energy experienced or the force experienced by this small box is equal to the potential energy or pushing capability of this spring. So this speed, this force experienced by this small box is directly proportional to the capability of pushing of this spring or capability of expansion of this spring, which is directly the potential energy of this spring. That is why we define potential at this point is the work done in moving this unit positive charge from a very long distance, that is infinity, to this point, okay, against the field created by this plus q. I hope this concept is very, very clear. Okay, now we have the work done, right? Work done equation. What was work done equation? Okay, work done, like in our previous video we have discussed, from A to B, which is minus, right, q E dot dl. This is what we have written. So q was constant, so we will keep it outside. So we have work done as this, integral A to B q E dl. So from this mathematical equation in line with the definition, I can write, I am not going to derive, I can write the potential as minus integral infinity, because now I am bringing the charge from infinity to a point P. Here it was, the charge was moved from a point A to B. Now here I am moving it from infinity to P, and the charge which I am moving is Q in that case, and here it is unit charge, so Q becomes 1 and I remain with E dot dl. So I can express potential as minus integral infinity to P E dot dl. So this conveys, or this gives me an mathematical idea of what is the work done in bringing a unit positive charge Q equal to 1 from infinity to a point P against the field. That's why we get this negative, against the field. That is my work done, which is now same as potential. So potential is denoted by V. Now we have enough idea about what is electric potential. So now this is the right time to discuss something about potential field. To discuss potential field, or it is also known as electric scalar potential, because at the end we are going to find an expression for scalar potential. There is nothing but electric potential. So discuss that. Initially we have to consider a point charge Q at some point, a point charge Q at some point. So let this be a point, okay, denoted by O, point O, and I have a charge Q at that point. So as you know, this charge Q will establish an electric field. Next what I am going to do is, I am going to consider 2 points. One point here, let it be A, and another point somewhere there, okay, let it be B. So I am going to consider 2 points and named it as A and B. Now these points are measurable from point O, means they are at the some distances from point O. Let it be RA distance and RB distance. Now what I am going to do is, I am going to consider a unit positive charge. Remember, a positive charge whose magnitude is unity. I am taking such a charge and I am trying to move that charge from the initial point A to the final point B through this field, because this Q is already establishing some field. So I am trying to move a unit positive charge from A to B in the field created by Q. The path which I can move from A to B is arbitrary. I can choose any path. So I am going to choose some path like this. I am moving from A to B. Now what I am going to do is, so charge is moving along this path. So now you know that the path is something like this, but as you know, it will not move in a single step, right? It will move step by step. At some position, at some time, the charge will be somewhere here. At some time, the charge will be somewhere here. At some time, the charge will be somewhere here. The final time, the charge will be at B. Agree? So let me consider some point on this path, okay, where the charge was present at some particular time, maybe halfway this path or some point on this path. So I started moving from here, okay, assume that I am somewhere here now. Let me notate it by a point. So I am here now. Started moving from here, I am doing a work in moving a unit positive charge from point A. So it traveled through this path and now it is here. Now it is there. So let it be some point. I will mark it for reference. Let it be a point P. This point P is measurable from O, in the sense it is at a distance, some distance. Let me notate it as R. Now what I am going to do is, I am going to consider another point somewhere on this path, in the sense I will consider a point P which is at some distance R, and I am going to calculate what is the work done by me to move the unit positive charge from this point to another point on the same path which is at a smaller distance. If I can calculate that, I can calculate what is the total work done in moving from A to B. That is the idea. So let me move it on this path. Okay. Before that, let me notate E vector, because at this particular point P, okay, there will be electric field intensity noted in some this direction. Why I am doing that? Because to make you understand this small movement, this small work done is in the presence of electric field. Is in the presence of electric field. Okay, because there are field lines all over. I did not draw this, but you please understand that the electric field is in some direction like this. So notated here. Okay. Now let me start moving from this point P. Okay, for a small distance, and I have reached some point here. Okay, let that point be named as R, just for reference, and this distance is delta L. I will consider this distance as delta L, so that it will be similar to your previous derivations which we have done. Now this point R is also at a measurable distance from point O, that is my initial charge Q. Okay, so position of that Q is some distance from the R. So instead of measuring it as a new distance, see what I am going to do is, I found something interesting here. If I drop a perpendicular from this point P onto the R, this distance and this distance should be same, because this is a path, some arbitrary path taking some shape, right. So this distance is obviously more than this distance, that is from figure it is very clear, right. This distance is little bit larger than this distance. So what I am going to find is, this distance is how much more than R. For that, I drop a perpendicular from this point P onto this line, then I find that this much more, the distance OR is this more than distance OP. So this a little bit more distance, I will notate it by delta R. Hope this is clear, delta R. So this will be R, this will be delta R. So the total distance will be R plus delta R. So the total distance from O to R is R plus delta R, and this is R. This is just to understand the geometry, okay, nothing more. We have not yet started to write the expressions. Before it is too late, let us, okay, understanding this figure, let us try writing expression for work done in moving a charge from point P to point R in this scenario, in this path for delta L distance. P is at a distance R and second point is at a distance R plus delta R. Okay. So one more thing which you should know is, the angle made by the path with the electric field is a measurable quantity and it is theta. That also we'll keep in our mind. Okay. So the path makes an angle theta with electric field. Fine. Okay. Now we are all ready to write the expression. So as we know, the work done is a small work done. I write it as delta W in moving a charge from P to R can be written as minus Q E dot delta L, but here Q is unit positive charge, so plus 1, so Q is taken as 1, so I write it as E dot delta L. Now by using the definition of dot product, so this is a dot product of two vectors, so I can write it as magnitude of this, magnitude of the second vector, cosine of smallest angle between them. So as I told you, this is delta L, this is E, angle between them is theta, so cosine of angle between them is cos theta or cosine theta. So I can write this expression as minus EL, E delta L cos theta. Okay. Now what is this E? E is electric field at point P due to this Q. So we already know what is electric field intensity at some point P due to charge Q. Is it not? So what is the expression? The expression is Q divided by 4 pi epsilon r square. So let me substitute that here. So my delta W becomes minus Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square delta L cos theta. Delta L cos theta. Now to proceed with, I have to do something with this delta L cos theta. I have a nice geometrical figure with me. I understood this. So can I get some relation from this figure for expressions here? In the sense, can I get some substituting value from the figure which is meaningful, so that I can get an expression for delta W in a better way. So this delta L cos theta is disturbing me to get a better equation. I feel so. So can I have some expression for delta L cos theta, a better expression for delta L cos theta from this figure? I have theta here, I have delta L here. Okay. So what I am going to do is, to find delta L cos theta, I am considering this portion of the figure, or I am considering this triangle. So I will zoom this triangle, I will redraw that triangle. Okay. So the triangle can be redrawn, approximated like this. So this is not exactly a straight line, because it is some arbitrary path, but it's very small distance delta L, so I can approximate it as a straight line. So I approximated this delta L as a straight line. This is anyway perpendicular drawn. This is anyway straight line measured from O to R. So these two portions are straight line, and this is assumed to be straight line. So when I mark that, okay, this is theta. I know that this angle is theta. Okay, so by symmetry this angle is also theta. By symmetry this cuts here, right? This two parallel lines. So this angle is also theta. And this side is delta L and that side is delta R. This is delta R, this is delta L. So I think this is very clear. I have just picked it from the figure and magnified it. So this is P, this is R. If you have confusion, I will not take it. This is P, this is R. So I have magnified this. So from this triangle, can I get what is delta L cos theta? So for that I will write what is cos theta from that triangle. What is cos theta? So opposite side, that is delta R by hypotenuse delta L. So see, I found. So delta L cos theta is nothing but delta R. Now for this I will substitute in this equation, so that my delta W, that is small work done in moving unit positive charge from position P to position R, is now given by minus Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R square delta R. So this is a small work done, or this is the work done in moving that charge only from P to R. So such many P to R exist on the path, right? In the sense, what I mean is, from P to R, then R to Q, or from Q to, so this way this small delta L will take me to B. So I have started my journey from A, I have to be at final point B. So I will take such small paths, many small paths to reach here. So as discussed in the previous video, it is better to minimize this path again and apply mathematical computations, so that in physical world you will not have any problem in calculating this delta L or this delta W. So computationally, mathematically, it is always better to convert this differential values into infinitely small values than integrate it. So I will be using the same trick here. So I will put my delta W as still smaller, infinitely small dW, and my delta R infinitely small dr, because as you know that if this path is very small, this delta R is going to be still smaller, this difference is going to be still smaller. Okay, so delta R I will take it as dr and delta W dW. So this equation can be rewritten as dW equals minus Q by 4 pi epsilon R square delta R. So what is the next procedure? What should I do now? I have to consider the total work done. This is the differential work done. So the total work done is integral of this, right? So let me do that. Push this page so that I can get enough space. Okay. Now I'll integrate this to get the total work done in moving from A to B. So W can be calculated as integral of dW from A to B, that's integral of this equation from A to B. Right? Okay, so writing this Q 4 pi epsilon all are constant, right? So I take Q by 4 pi epsilon outside, I write A to B, I have to integrate now 1 by R square with respect to dr, 1 by R square with respect to dr. So I have here a minus sign, I have here a minus sign, I have here 1 by R square. So I will consider this as minus 1 by R square. So if I integrate minus 1 by R square, I will get 1 by R. I get it as 1 by R. So I write this, oh sorry, here I don't have R square, I don't have R square here, right? Okay. So Q by 4 pi epsilon, integration of minus 1 by R square is 1 by R, 1 by R from A to B. That means the R, okay, look at the figure, the R varies from A to B, in the sense R can be RA and R can be RB, that is the meaning, the physical meaning. Okay, R can vary from A to B, in the sense A is a point, B is a point, so I cannot directly apply this cannot be 1 by B minus 1 by A, it does not have any physical or mathematical meaning. So 1 by R can vary from A to B, that is the meaning. That means at A, R is RA and at B, R is RB. So R can vary from RB to RA, that is the meaning. So if I substitute that, I get the total work done as Q by 4 pi epsilon naught 1 by RB minus 1 by RA. So this is my work done, and this can also be written as potential difference. We have discussed this in previous video, potential at B minus potential at A. So this is my equation. This is my equation. This is the case or scenario when I have 2 points A and B in electric field and I am trying to move a charge from A to B. But this gives me idea of what is the work done required, or how much is the work which I have to perform to move any charge in an existing field from one point to another point. But we need an expression for electric potential, which is the work done in moving a charge from one point to another point. Yes, but that one point is infinity. So I have to move it from infinity to that point. So to get that idea in this mathematical expression, what I can do is, okay, I can assume that there exists only one point. That is, I assume that A does not exist at all. Okay, so I can easily extend this study, no need to derive it again. I can easily extend this study by just assuming that A does not exist at all. Now what does that mean? Okay, if you are confusing, see here, this point doesn't exist at all. That is, this A point doesn't exist at all. I have only B. If I have only B, then this path doesn't exist, right? So from Q I will have RB, or this RB can be termed as R. So I have R. So I need to find what is potential at B only, potential at B only, due to a charge which I am moving from infinity to that point, infinity to that point. Okay, so RA now becomes infinity. RA now becomes infinity. I hope it's very clear. Okay, now this point A is not here, does not exist. That means that this A is not here. This A is somewhere very far. A is somewhere very far. Okay, I will draw that so it will be more clear. So let me consider that point Q, and I have B here. The distance between them is RB. Okay, now what I mean by A does not exist is, A is not existing in the vicinity of Q, or A is not in the field of Q. So A is very far now. So A is kept at infinity. Okay, A is very far. So let us assume that this conceptually this A is very far and it is at infinity. Okay, so this distance will be infinity. It's not measurable. So RA becomes now infinity because it is not measurable because A is at infinity. Okay, now I have only one distance to be measured, that is RB. Okay, and what I am doing, I am bringing this charge, okay, whichever we have discussed, unit positive charge from A to B. That is the work what we are doing. So here also it doesn't change. I am trying to bring a unit positive charge from A, which is at infinity, to the point B. Okay, so the expression remains same. The total expression remains same, because this is what we have calculated. So this expression holds good. Now the only distance which I need to measure here is RB. So that distance can be written as R also, doesn't matter. Okay, so in this equation, this VA, okay, the potential at infinity is not calculated. So we usually take potential at infinity to be 0. So VA becomes 0. That is the idea. So I have only VB now. So this equation becomes VB is Q by 4 pi epsilon naught 1 by RB minus 1 by infinity, because RA is infinity. So 1 by infinity can be approximated as a 0. So this equation becomes VB Q by 4 pi epsilon RB. Okay. So in general, now this is the potential at B and the distance is RB. As I told you, RB can be general distance R, and this point B can be any point. So if I write this equation generally, so the potential at a point V is written as Q by 4 pi epsilon R. So this is my final expression for electric potential. So it is known as electric scalar potential because the potential is mentioned or measured at a point, it does not have any direction, because it is a measurable quantity, measurable value, and is measured at a point. It does not depends upon direction. So this is always a scalar quantity. So electric potential is also known as electric scalar potential. So if we can find an expression for potential field, that is the potential difference between 2 points in a field created by Q, that is this expression, then we can extend the idea of this field, that is potential field, to find what is potential at a point in a field. So that is given by this expression. I hope the concept of electric scalar potential and potential field is crystal clear. Thank you for watching. Bye.